Hello and welcome back to Romantasy Readers. I'm Allie, and as always, I am with Nicole. How are you today, Nicole?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, yeah. I'm just really pumped to be talking about House of Flame and Shadow,
I'm a little
as
sleep
always.
deprived. I'm a little sleep deprived because I was up late last night. I'm on my second read through of Crescent City 3 because, I got to break this down. I need to have
Yeah,
my theories and I
yeah.
need to be solid. So I am rereading and I was up. I'm on the last 100 pages. So I was up till 1:30 last night till I was like, I've got a podcast
Yeah.
tomorrow. I need to sleep. I need to put this down and leave it and I'll come back to it tomorrow, but it's hard. It's very hard.
I I really wish I could do a reread, but I have so many arcs right now, that I really like, I cannot pick my own next book for, like, another month because I have it's so exciting. I actually really do love getting advanced reader copies, and
Mhm.
getting to kinda be in the know before other people, and I it and, I'm really firmly, like, if I agree to read something, I do read it,
Mhm.
so, and I think it's important that I do that before the release date, but I will say, like, I'm really ready to and I've read some fantastic books. It's not even that they're bad. They're really, really great. I've gotten some fantastic arcs. I just, you kinda just want to be able to read what you wanna read, and I
It's
can't. I'm on,
hard.
like, a
It's
tight
hard when there's some
schedule.
big books out there, and my to be read pile is already huge at this point. I still haven't finished Carnival. I have the finale to finish, haven't finished that yet because 'cause I've been in Crescent City World. I
Yeah,
have Spark of the Everflame I wanna read. I think there's a new
same.
Butcher one. I'm seeing everyone talk about that. I've just got I can't even consider arcs because I've
I
just got my
know.
primary reading that's my focus and just
Yeah.
not enough hours in the day for reading.
No, and I wanna read that Kingdom of Wrath series that you recommended, so
Yes.
there's so much I wanna
Oh my
read.
god. Yes.
I know that's, like, next like, that's what I wanna read next, but I
And
have,
it's such a good next read when it's sort of about the Princes of Hell, and obviously from Crescent
yes,
City,
exactly,
it'll be a great,
exactly.
follow-on read. I think
Yeah.
that's a perfect book to follow on with after reading Crescent City, for sure.
Mhm, mhm,
Mhm.
yeah, and I will say the last 3 books I've read have not been fantasy or, like, romantasy. They've been either more straight fantasy or more, like, historical fiction or whatever, so I'm really itching for just like a steamy, like,
Yes.
really exciting romantasy book, and I probably will not be able to do that for at least, like, another 3
Uh,
weeks
I
or
have to
4.
admit that I really enjoyed so after I finished Crescent City 3 the first time, and I felt pretty disappointed and overwhelmed with the ending. It was a big read, and I was just, staring at a blank wall, and I picked up the sequel to Emberly Ash, and
Yeah,
I really enjoyed reading it. I really
yeah,
did because I just needed something lighter. I just it's
yeah,
not light, it's
yeah.
still heavy, but it's just a bit simpler. It's just there is a main male character, there is a female kick-ass character, there is fantasy and wolves and
And
spice
then
and just everything I want, but not complex, but not too complex. Just the
yeah,
right
in
amount of
some
complex.
ways that's more satisfying, because
Exactly.
it's like you can really just get into it, you kinda know what to expect, and you're not over here just, like, reeling from all of the information that's being thrown at you. And right, I love both, right? Like, I love that I have SJM books to read, I love that I have other romantasy books to read, but yeah, I'm kinda with you, like, I'm just like, I'm itching for that really just, like, really
Yeah,
great
just
steamy romantasy
and
book.
I guess especially the simplicity sort of in the romance that there's just a
Yeah,
clear main male character, a clear
yeah.
female, whereas
Even if there's a little tension, and I know it's gonna take take them time to get there, like, I'm excited to just, like, read something like that.
in
So,
Crescent City 3, I was so confused. I'm seeing vibes with Azrael, then she's with Hunt and he's her mate, and then we've got Rune, and then we've got Darian, and everyone's got a romance and everything's going
yeah,
on, and I'm getting overwhelmed. And I just needed something a little bit simpler. And it almost felt like going on a holiday. It was just like, oh, this is relaxing. I can just
yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
it, enjoy the spice, get in the
Yeah,
vibe. I don't have to overthink it.
I know, I know. I need to go on a holiday, and I need to just read whatever I wanna read.
Well, guys, I have to tell you, I have a really, in my real life, I have a pretty exciting, I'm going to Europe this year. We
So
have, I
excited.
don't, I'm going for 2.5 months. I'm so
That's
excited. This is
amazing.
like,
That is
this is
so amazing.
Oh, this is like 8 years in the making. I've had little kids and now they're a little bit older and we're ready. We're like, right, this is the year. We're going to take them over to Europe. So I'm going to bring Romantasy readers to Europe. I'm going to be podcasting from France, from Spain, from Italy. I'm going to
That's
eat the pizza
amazing.
and the pasta and I'm so excited.
You're gonna have to, like, set up, like, a background, like, in your hotel or wherever you're staying, like, with, like, the beautiful whatever all the different backgrounds are, and then mine's just gonna stay the same every week. It's just gonna be my office with my book, which I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of. I love my office. I feel like I've worked really hard to make it, like, my space, like, it is everything that I love and nothing that my husband loves, but, I'm still gonna be so jealous.
I've installed one like floating one, like look at my books, and it's just like, and then you look at Allie's there, and it's just like, and it looks a lot, it's bigger in real life, I promise.
Well, this is what I asked for my birthday 2 years ago. I was
Mhm.
like I told my husband, I was like, "I don't want you to get me a present. I want to buy shelves, and I want you to install them, and I don't wanna have to, like, do the labor to install them myself. I just want you to put them up, and then I just get to decorate them with my books."
Yes,
And so that was a birthday present a couple years
I
ago,
love
but
it. I love it
yeah.
so much.
Anyway,
Yes, no, I will
I
definitely post.
yeah, definitely. We were thinking or hoping that this week's episode would be a little bit shorter, but here we are almost 10 minutes in, and we haven't even started talking about the book yet. So, classic
Typical
romantasy
romantic reader
readers.
style.
Yeah, classic. We're just chatting. But today we're not quite ready to start diving into our new theories because, again, we're just trying to give people enough time to really read the book, really process it, to be able to kind of engage with those theories with us. So today we're going to kind of do a debrief on what theories were we right about, what theories were we wrong about, and then maybe a little more chatting, right? Because we made a lot of predictions. All
We
right.
did.
And we
That's
were
what
right
we
about
love.
some and we were very wrong about
Hey,
some others.
I'm like, if I make 10 predictions, 9 out of 10 are wrong, but one's right, like
Yeah.
winning. Winning.
Yeah.
Like that is
100%.
gold. It's
That's
like
all you're looking
addiction.
for.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So, Nicole, what is the theory that you were right about, that you are, like, most proud and excited of? Do you have
Well,
one?
well, it was hard because I mean, I said we had so many theories, and I found it hard to theorize in Sarah J. Maas world because it's so
Yeah,
much more
it's not as easy.
complex
Yeah,
in some ways than
and hard to
Fortune.
predict what she's gonna do, for sure.
Yeah. But I think one that I was pretty proud of was how they were going to communicate
Yeah,
in ACOTAR world. I sort of predicted that Reese was going to have some magical contraption, whether it's something that she wore or something that she took that was going to like magic that was going to like allow them to just speak the language to each other. And so then they're there and they're not being able to communicate. And then all of a sudden that like what Amron pulls out this pill and is like, here, take
little
this so we
bean.
can talk to each other. And it's like, boom. I'm like, yes, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, I know. I read that and I was like, "Nicole was right. She got it. She nailed
Yes.
it."
It's
And I told people because a lot of people, like, really kinda hated that little bean after they read about it when the first chapter and prologue released, and, I, like, told so many people on Instagram, I was like, "Oh, don't you worry, that bean is coming back, like, SJM would not just have that bean and then move on from it," and I was so wrong about that. Never came
So
back.
like, there you go, Bean. You can communicate with each other, and see you later. We solved that little problem there. I
Yeah.
think though you did speak about maybe in some of our conversations that you think that Bean has a lot more purpose than just being
I
this
still
kind of
do think it
communication
does.
device. The fact that it lit up what her horn, like what was made
Yeah.
on her back. Did
Mhm,
you want to talk a
mhm.
little bit about what you kind of? Oh,
Yeah,
here we are already jumping into new theories, but what it
yeah,
might
we
be.
said we were going to. I mean, and this one's, like, not again, like, this isn't fully fleshed out, so I wouldn't this is just kind of, like, thoughts. I wouldn't call this
Hmm,
a theory, but, I do think it's really interesting that it made her horn light up, like,
hmm. Yeah.
intensely to the point that it almost, like I mean, she blacked out, right? And they saw it, and they were able to see the language it was written in, which we know is like the language of the universe, but I think most people agree that that's probably word marks from Throne of Glass world. But I do think, I don't really know what it will be, but I do think there's going to be
Yes. Yes.
something else that pill does. Like maybe that's how Akatar and Prithian kind of come back together somehow, or like
Yeah,
there's
because
something there
exactly.
that's we're missing.
If this became bigger, if we were actually trying to cross over, like, yeah, okay, you got a couple of people, Ember, and Bryce, yeah, okay, you've got a couple of beans in your bag, that's fine. But if you were talking about 1,000 people, 10,000 people, that's not going to be as easy. They might need to do something different or on a broader spectrum in that
Mhm,
sense. So it'll be
mhm.
interesting. It'll be interesting. I think there's definitely, as you said, we may see those beans come back. We may find out more about them, how they're created, where they
Yeah.
come from, and do they have a greater purpose than just
Or
being a
maybe
great
they're
communication device?
just a random magical bean that Reese happened to have. Maybe
Oh,
that's
exactly,
all.
because he
I
always
don't
has
know.
that. He always just keeps his little magical thing of,
Yeah,
tricks, and he's like, "Oh, wait, I had this prepared earlier." Just in the off chance that some intergalactic person came that couldn't speak our language, here it is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I'm very glad that that got solved quite easily. The other thing that I was maybe excited about, well, it's a bit complicated. This is definitely complicated, but that I was into Bryce and Azrael. But at the same time, I thought it was a ridiculous theory. When I was first reading this book, I thought, this is just a TikTok theory. This is just people have brought it up because that's where she landed. This is crazy. I'm like, I kind of went along with it because I thought, hey, this is going to be really funny for content. Let's get into Bryce Real. It'd be fun. Then I started reading those first chapters in part 1, and all of a sudden there's hand holding for extended periods of time, and there's staring, and there's like banter, and he's trying to kill her, but in the way that mates kind of do. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah, like
pulling
he
her
can't stay
to his
away from her.
chest.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
holding
like,
her hand.
and I'm just like, holy shit. I'm just like, this is like, it's not just like a theory. Like, this is like, stuff's
There's
actually
something
happening.
here.
This is actually
Yeah.
happening. And then I got a little excited and I went a little bit overboard. And I was just like, oh my God, it's like happening. Kind of forgetting there was this whole other half of the story, like Hunt, still a huge barrier to this kind of theory coming true.
Yeah.
And then I got crazy disappointed, and the rest of the book happened, and it was happy ever after for Hunt and Bryce. And I was just like, why did we go on that journey? Why couldn't have Cassian taken her through the mountains? Like, I don't, now I'm in pain. Now I'm in
Yeah.
pain. So
And now
I
you have to
kind
take
of
a
got
shot.
I feel like I
And
kind of got a little bit of something, but I also got my dreams crushed. So
yeah.
it was a
Mhm.
emotional roller coaster, this book for me.
Yeah. And you have to take a shot, and it may taste more
Oh,
bitter because you got
no.
some hope, and then that hope was ripped away. But that shot could also be less bitter because now we have agreed, right? Because now I'm on the board that like we're not ruling this out. So Nicole has to take the shot because of the bet that we had. But I have agreed that if she does end up being correct, then I have to take 2 shots.
All right.
So, you
I'm
know.
gonna be all Nesta here. Nesta coming out, about to go pointing to the
Yeah.
king of what's his name, the king of Highburn, saying, "I may take this shot now, but just that this is doubled now. This
Yeah.
is not over for me. I still believe that there is a Bryce and Azrael in the future.
Yeah.
I still believe this can happen, and if it does, you're gonna have to do 2 shots and 4 chapters of Stephen Hawking. But I will take my shot right now. I will take this." Knowing that there's still something here. There is still
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah. You're gonna lose the battle, but win the war.
That's right. That's right. Lose the battle today, but win the war in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
hoping anyway.
So, get excited for
Oh,
that, people. Okay.
not
I
fun.
I was freaking out when I turned out to be correct. Kind of. I'm calling it correct of who Hunt's father was.
Yes.
I the thing that like, occasionally I will have a theory, and I usually have the theory, and then I see other people talking about it, right? Like, because if I
Mhm.
see a theory, I don't necessarily need to record my own version on it if, like, everyone has it. But often what happens is, like, I have a theory, I post about it, and then other people are also, like, agreeing with me.
Yes.
No one
No.
that I saw was saying that Apollyon was Hunt's father. Like, no
Yes.
one was saying that. Everyone thought it was like either Thanatos, which was also kind of correct, or they were saying it was like Thur, the god of thunder. And
Yes.
no one was saying it was Apollyon. And I was right, and I was freaking out
You
about
were
that. I was
right.
right that he's part demon. I was right that his father was Apollyon. And even though Thanatos was part of the process and he had like a human father as well, I think like in spirit, his true kind of like
Well, he got the lightning
father
from
was
Apollyon,
Apollo.
didn't he? Like, he
Yes,
got his lightning from
exactly.
him. He was kind of the
His magic
primary,
was
and then
from
Thanatos just kinda added a little extra on the side.
Thanatos just kind of like did the science. That's how I think of it. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
Thanatos just did the science to make it happen, whereas Apollyon donated his magic. So
that's right. Oh, this was insane when I read this and he's like, "I'm your father." Like, full on Star Wars, like,
yeah,
"What?
he's like,
What?"
"Hello, son."
And I'm just
I
like,
freaked
"Ellie was
out.
right. Ellie is gonna be so excited." And I'm a few days ahead. Like, Ellie is not gonna read this for a few more days yet. And I'm like, "Oh, I have to keep this inside. How do I not
We
tell her
even
any?"
talked about it. There was a moment where like I was talking to Nicole about it, and she knew and I didn't know, and she did so good. She did not give anything away. I was so impressed.
It was really, really hard. It was really
Yeah,
hard. I
yeah.
just didn't wanna spoil it for you. I knew how excited you would be. But here I was bloody considering that there might have been a romance between Apollyon and Bryce. Like, I was just like, "Oh god." Like, let's just delete that I ever even said that because I'm so far past that space now that I'm just like,
Yeah, I know, right? It's so
"That
crazy how
that
your
never
thoughts
happened.
can
That
evolve.
theory never happened. Nope, nope.
Well, I
That's just
thought
weird now."
I was with you on it. I was like, "Oh yeah, totally. You're right about that." And I also thought that Adis and Bryce were going to be together. I was like really certain of that. And I was wrong about that too.
Oh
So,
my god. Like, now I have a
um,
completely different opinion on the Hell and the Princes altogether, so now I cannot think of anything worse than Bryce being somehow
with Apollyon.
connected to long-term love interest with them. It's just I'm
Yeah,
so far from that place now, but I'm
yeah,
very glad that you did have a correct answer in Apollyon being Hunt's dad. That was very,
yeah.
very
It was so exciting. A
so
couple
worth
other
it.
things we were right about. I was right that the Daglin and the Asteri were the same thing. That I think
Yes,
that was,
ma'am.
kind of obvious, but still, it's exciting to be right about these things.
Exactly.
We saw Pegasuses. I don't know. Is it
Yes!
Pegasi? I don't
Oh,
know.
no, Pegasuses, Pegasi,
I'm not sure, but
unicorns,
we
same,
both
same.
were like said that we would see them, and we saw them. I thought that
I
we would see them in Actor World, so actually getting them in Midgard was really exciting
Yes!
for me.
Yes, and now my brain's kind of exploding and I'm like, so is maybe stuff also happening around the prison? Like, are we gonna find out that like the prison, like all the prisoners have escaped, or
Yeah,
are there Pegasuses coming out of the prison as well? Now that I obviously like now the Earth's coming back to life because Bryce has taken all that starlight back into herself. So it's like, is that maybe how or why they might need to reconnect in the future? Because shit's going down in Prithian as
yeah,
well. And they're like, Bryce, help, what have you done? So,
yeah, yeah.
but
I know.
I
I think
love
that
that they're back.
I love that they're back. I love that. I really loved the bonus chapter where they, as much as like again we've already talked about how like we don't love Bryce and Hunt, but I did really like that bonus chapter where they're like chatting about like she's got to go check on him and and everything.
Yes.
It was so
Yes.
cute.
And I mean, and speaking of the Pegasuses, I'd always found it a bit childish that she was always like, Bryce was always talking about Jelly Jubilee. I was always just like, this is just weird. Like, why are you so
Yeah,
into your like childhood toy? Like, it was just a strange, but now I'm sort of seeing this whole connection and whether there's actually going to be some significant importance
I think
to Bryce
so.
being the starlight, starborn queen and the Pegasus is
Yeah.
Pegasi.
Well, and the other thing that's interesting, and again, I don't have a fully fleshed theory here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but um, there are winged horses, Pegasuses, as part of the day court as well, under
Yes.
Helios or Helion. And I found it very interesting that in A Court of Silver Flames, Helion was extremely affected by the mask more than anyone else. Like he felt really, really weird around it.
Yes.
And then we know that like the mask is made, and so I don't
And
know.
I
There's
think it's
again, there's
really
not like a massive. I don't have like it's not. This is more just like these things are intriguing. I feel like I'll have a theory here, but I haven't
yeah.
been thinking about it
I
yet.
found it really interesting that Bryce felt such a welcoming back when she put the mask on with
Mhm.
the starlight
Mhm.
power. She speaks about it feeling like that they know each other and they're almost welcoming each other back, that there's this knowledge and connection. And again, I haven't fleshed out the why or how that might impact, but I did find that a very interesting point, that they seem to have some kind of connection to each other and what the significance of that might be in the future. So
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
interesting. Another thing, I don't know if this was exactly a theory, but I feel like I kind of knew in the background this was potentially going to happen. And that was Rune killing the Autumn King.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever officially called it out as an official theory, but I always thought it was Rune's kill. I always felt like the Autumn King
Yeah.
had done the most bad to Rune. And so if anyone should kill him, it was Rune with the Star
Yeah.
Sword, like
Yeah,
even better.
with the Star Sword, yeah. And see, it's interesting, like, on the converse of that, I was super wrong. I said that I thought the Autumn King was gonna have some good in him, and that he was gonna know more than we thought, and he was gonna end up being good, and I was way wrong about that. I
Yep.
was super wrong about that.
That's all right. We win some, we lose some, but
We
this is
win
the
some, we lose
joy of
some.
theorizing. You know, like those moments that you get it right just make all the others worth it. And then you just pretend those things never happened. You sort of just bury them
You
and
just
you
let it
just,
go,
yeah.
yeah. Who cares? The fun is in the process of coming up with the theory. It's
Exactly,
not about being
exactly. I
right
mean,
or
I
wrong.
had a whole prediction about page 666 and the importance of Apollyon talking to Bryce in that moment. Well, I do think it was an important moment. I don't think it's had any significant impact any more
Right,
than just the general story.
right.
You
And the
know,
significance of it being on page 666 or whatever,
I still think
which I
that's
I do
important.
think was intentional. I really do. I'm
Yeah,
sticking by
yeah.
that.
It just might
Yeah,
just be like a little, oh, surprise, here's an Easter egg. I put it on page 666 and it's the Princes of Hell talking, but it might not be anything more than that.
yeah.
But yeah, so, we get them right, we get them wrong sometimes, but the process
Yep.
is definitely a lot of fun. Ethan becoming Prime. Did you anticipate Ethan becoming the Prime of the
I
pack?
did. I did.
Yeah.
I don't know if again, I don't know if I talked some of these are like some of them I brought to the podcast, some of them I didn't. It's hard for me to remember exactly if it was like rapid fire or what, but I did anticipate that Ethan would become the prime. I did think that that would happen. So yeah, that was exciting. What about you? Did you think he was going to be
I
prime?
think I predicted, and I think it might have been through one of our conversations that you were like, "Oh, Ethan's totally gonna rise back up," and I was like, "Oh, of course he's going to! Oh my god, he could become
Yeah.
Prime!" Like, it's all of a
Yeah.
sudden just like it clicked, and yeah, so then I was like, I think that this is definitely going to happen, and then I could really see that trajectory. They were sort of at the bottom. He was, he'd been, you know, he's out of the pack, he's a lone wolf, and then having that sort of redemption arc for Ethan
Yeah.
was just so awesome and enjoyable to see. Yet again,
Mhm.
it was something that my first read, I rushed over a lot of that, especially the Sigrid parts, and like I wanted to be in Akatar
Yeah.
world, I wanted to be in the primary story. I wasn't very interested, but on my second read, I really enjoyed this journey for Ethan, especially when it
Mhm.
led to
Mhm.
him being called the Prime by the
Yeah.
Elder Prime, and then just all that happening. It was
Oh, that
awesome.
whole scene. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I thought that Sigrid would be more important than she was, I will say, like, I was
Yeah.
pretty shocked when she died,
Yes.
and then I was shocked when she came back as a Reaper because I thought she was gonna be super significant. She still could be significant, right? Like, she's still out there, she's a Reaper, so, like, she could come back and be important in a way that we don't anticipate, but
Yeah.
I did think that she would be more important than she
Yeah, I
was.
feel like her only importance now has been in Ethan himself realizing
It
that
really was for yeah,
he actually needed to do it
it was his
himself, that
catalyst.
he couldn't
Yeah.
rely on someone else. He couldn't rely on Danica or Sigrid to do it for him, that he actually needed to be the prime leader. And
Mhm.
but I agree. I sort of felt like, did was she required to get to that point? Maybe we didn't need her. And I kind of wonder now, is she going to be a villain now that she's the Reaper and she's sucking souls and stuff? Is she sort of going to be the evil Reaper wolf that's going to be a villain? But I don't really know. All I know is that she's run off now, disappeared. But I'm sure she's still going to have significance, even if it
Yeah.
is as a
Well,
villain.
and I could see, I mean, I could definitely see a world where there are a lot of wolves who are unhappy with Ethan, who number 1 sort of like bought into the Asteri, like, bought into, like, they're bad, and also sort of support the Fendir line, and so I wonder if we're gonna end up seeing this, like, split of the pack into kind of like the Ethan side of things and then people following her because she kinda lets them do whatever they want and be evil, and then those 2 packs really have to, come to terms with one another, and maybe
Yeah.
there's some fighting or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
So,
like an evil
uh
pack and like a good pack.
yeah,
So
I
that'll
believe.
be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's everything we were right about for the most part. I think there's a lot of predictions we made that we aren't necessarily wrong about yet, right? We haven't really had them confirmed or denied because
Mhm.
I think we were making some like big epic like mass first stuff and we just didn't get a ton of mass first stuff in this book. Um,
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about some of the places we were very wrong. So, very wrong about there being any kind of romance with the Princess of Hell. We both sort of were, like, really into that idea at some point, and that was very wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, no, definitely no romances there, and I don't think I want there to be any romances anymore. I
not
mean, I have a
anymore.
whole
I'm
new
over
theory
it.
now that Princes of Hell may actually be the ultimate villains, and so the last thing I want to imagine right now is any romance with these guys. Not that Ada still has me very, very confused. I'm still unsure. As I said, I do have a bit of a theory now that the Princes of
Of his
Hell are the
own
villains,
alliance.
could be
Yeah,
connected to the Vulg, but I don't know about Adis. Adis is the only one that I'm still not sure about. I feel like there's still some good in him. But it's definitely a theory that I still need to break down a whole lot more. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and I've sort of been saying from the beginning for a long time that I thought that the Princes of Hell were Vogue. I still think that. So, I don't know that we have that confirmed or denied yet. But I do I will say I'm even more convinced now that I'm going to be
yes.
right that they're Vogue. But I agree with you. I'm not exactly sure how Adis fits into that picture.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
if he's gonna end
Definitely.
up being on their side or what. Um,
Exactly. Another one that I think we definitely got wrong. Maybe this was your theory, but the River Queen, or a few people had this theory about the River Queen being connected to Nesta's mum.
yeah,
This is probably
yeah.
a pretty far off theory anyway. But
This
definitely
wasn't a
no
theory that
connection
I
there
had, it's
whatsoever
just
at
one
this
that I
point.
heard. Yeah,
Mm,
I think we can rule that out. I still think that Nesta's the Archeron mom could still be alive somewhere. I don't think that she's the River Queen's daughter. Um I kind of always thought that was a crazy theory, but I just love a crazy theory. So sometimes I just like say it just because it's fun. But
yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
think it's pretty, I don't think that that's the case. I don't think we see that. I don't see how that would be
The
possible.
connection. Like, I think
Yeah,
you need to
I
be
don't see
able to
how they
see
can
some
get
real
there.
connections to say, "Oh, I can see how the pieces are lining up." I don't feel
Yeah.
like I see any connections there. But if anyone does have any connections and they think it might be coming up in future books, please let us know because
Yeah.
obviously we're all down for a crazy theory and
Yeah.
we would love to explore it more. But yeah, at this point in time, no connection there between Nesta's mum, and the River Queen. So,
Yeah.
a no for that
Speaking
one.
of Nesta, we had a very silly theory, which I don't think we either of us thought would happen, but was just fun to throw out there, which was that Nesta and Bryce might have a dance off. Unfortunately, we did not get a dance off between Bryce and Nesta.
We did get fighting, right? We did kind of have them
Yes.
sort of fighting, and
Mhm.
we also had them vibing. Like, we had them, like, back
Yeah.
and forthing
Yeah.
and being all
Yeah.
sassy and awesome and just, like, this kind of mixture of friendship and enemy at the same time because they didn't know each other. But we also had the music, like, the bonus chapter and them
Yeah.
listening to the music, that was almost as good to me as a dance off.
Yeah. A
The
dance
fact
off.
that
Yeah.
Bryce was sharing her music on her phone and you know, Nesta got the chance to listen to classical music, which was what she was really connected to, and then it was Az who was really into, like, clubbing music, modern music, the Stone Mother song. He was like, we something I got very wrong. Last time we spoke, we were like, one of the negatives about Az and Bryce theory is that he would never be okay in Midgard. We were like, there is
Yeah.
no way that Az would be all right in Midgard. I do not see him being
I was
comfortable. He would just want to be back in Akatar where it's safe.
yeah.
And I was wrong. I think he
Yeah,
would
I
love
felt that
Midgard.
strongly. I was like, Az would freak out with technology, and I
Yep.
was super wrong about that, and I'm happy
Yeah.
to be wrong. I'm
I
happy
just
that, like,
don't.
I
I actually.
loved that Az was like vibing to the club music. I love
I
it.
know. It actually really I felt she started feeling really emotional for Az in this. It sort of reminded me how sad and lonely he is at this point in these books, that all his friends have found their mates. And he has really been so lonely all these years, from
Yeah.
loving more and her not really returning that, to obviously then Elaine. Gwyn hasn't even really turned into anything at all. He's felt so lost in love and generally is a very lone wolf and just is very alone in the world. And even though he's a loved part of the family, he still feels a little disconnected. And in probably his Court of Silver Flame, he was almost distant from everyone except for Nestor and Cassian. And this just sort of reminded me that actually, if anyone in this world was maybe willing to go and have a fresh start, it might actually be Az that needs
Yeah.
it. That's kind
Yeah.
of like, I actually need to leave here and go see if I can sort of start fresh somewhere
Find
else.
something
And
new. Yeah.
I don't know, just have a change or an experience. It was really beautiful. I just want to see Az at a club. I need them to
No, I
take him,
need an Az in a club scene. Like
especially when
so
I
bad.
think of the beginning of Crescent City 1, and we're introduced to Bryce, and she's going out and she's clubbing and she's dancing to the music and she just is so
Yeah.
free. And now I just see Az doing that. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, and then you expect me not to be into Bryce Reel? Like, at this point, like, seriously, guys, like,
Yeah.
you had me at music. I'm
You
like, and sorry guys, I've got to jump into a really quick SJM thing. Right. So SJM, a couple of years ago, she did an interview and she spoke about music and how much she loves music. And she said in this interview, beware any male character that doesn't like music. She said that.
That's
And
really
well, good thing to know is Az loves
interesting.
music. But one thing that's quite interesting for all the fans out there is that he didn't like music. There's one scene where he's listening to a podcast, which I won't bag him on. Podcasts are awesome. Totally get your Hunt. Like, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
We
But
love podcasts.
he was dissing Bryce's music. He was dissing Bryce's music, and he said he preferred to listen to podcasts. So
While working out. Let's just point that out. Like, I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts. Obviously, I record a podcast. I cannot listen to podcasts while I work out. Some people can, and I'm so happy for them. I have to have music. If I'm going to do cardio, I can listen to a podcast while I'm like lifting weights. If I'm going to do cardio, I got to have a beat. I cannot. I cannot just have somebody talking while I'm trying to like huff and puff my way on a treadmill.
no, I
Um,
generally have to. I need the music to give me motivation.
yeah.
Otherwise, I just don't want to do the exercise at all,
Mm-mm,
like,
mm-mm.
at all. So
You I can, like, picture this scene so clearly, like, this happening where, like, Azriel like, Bryce is gone, he really misses the club music, and he's, like, trying to, like, describe it to, like, Reese and Cassian, and then, like, trying to get, like, musicians to, like, recreate it or something, like,
and he's like,
can you just imagine how funny that would be? Oh my god, Az beatboxing?
not that I'm sure he knows how to beatbox. He's just probably tapping his foot and clicking or something and being like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind of sounded like this. And
yeah, yeah.
it would just, the thing I need more than anything else after Crescent City 3 is I just need to know where Az is at this point. I need to know what happened after Bryce left, took Truth Teller, and then he was left after all these stuff happened in the first part. And I just need to know what happened to Az. Is he
I
okay?
know,
Is he
I
coping?
know. How is he
Like,
feeling about losing his favorite dagger? Truth
I'm just
teller.
his welfare is my
Awesome.
primary concern at this point. My primary
Mhm,
concern. We need
mhm.
Az to be okay, guys. We need him to be okay.
We do. Yeah. All right. Well, like we said, this was a pretty short episode today. We just kind of wanted to go into what we were right about, what we were wrong about. But we promise we have some epic theories coming for you. So do not, if you're feeling like you wish we had more theories today, do not fret. We are going to do some deep dives. So thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it, and just get excited because we're going deep, people.
We're going deep. And if you've got any particular theories that you really want us to discuss,
Yeah,
please let us know. We've got so much. We've got Princes of Hell, we've got the dragons, we've got Lydia's twins, we've got the Akatar 6, and we've got the book that Sarah has spoken about after that, which, just for anyone, we're kind of hoping is Twilight of the Gods and what that
yeah.
might actually be. But there's so
And how
much,
it
and
connects
we
to
can't.
Pinterest board
We,
from 5 years ago. Like, seriously,
exactly.
guys,
Oh
we
my
we've
God,
done
guys.
the research
Yes.
here.
This Pinterest from 5 years ago, Like, someone saved it and we got access to it, and wow, we will share it with you guys because it is so exciting, and I think it gives us a big indication of what is coming, which is so
Mhm,
exciting.
mhm. Yeah.
All right, guys.
So anyway, thanks so much for listening. We hope you all have a fantastic weekend up ahead of you, and rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend about our podcast, and enjoy. Bye.